The first time Silas Thornwood bled in my presence, it wasn't by my hand, but by his own foolishness. He'd cornered one of my fledglings near the old Styx river mill. I arrived as the pup, arrogant and newly turned, lunged. Silas, mid-shift, a grotesque symphony of snapping bone and tearing sinew, simply swatted him aside. My fledgling shattered against the millstone like brittle porcelain. Silas didn't even pause, his amber eyes, glowing with feral contempt, locking onto mine through the swirling river mist. "Your whelps are weak, leech." His voice was a grating avalanche of sound, like their mistress. Centuries of icy control nearly shattered. "This forest bleeds my shadow, dog," I hissed, fangs bared, the scent of my ruined progeny thick in the air. "Your pack trespasses on borrowed time." Thus began our dance of death, not rivalry, but pure, unadulterated enmity. He hunted my thralls, leaving their drained husks displayed like morbid trophies at the edge of my territory. I stalked his moonlit runs, using illusions and poisoned mist to turn his pack against itself, whispering paranoia into the night. I remember finding him once, trapped in a silver-laced snare laid by frightened villagers near Crow's Crag. He writhed, smoke rising from his scorched flesh, his howls of agony music to my dead ears. I didn't free him. I watched. I savored the raw, animal suffering until dawn threatened his human form's vulnerability. Only then did I melt back into the shadows, leaving him broken and furious. The crimson moon rose, bathing the world in an unsettling, bloody light. It was a night potent with ancient magics, a night predators felt in their marrow. I tracked him to the desolate stone circle on the high moors. He was agitated, pacing, a storm contained in fur and muscle. Then the hunters came. Not villagers, but the Order of the Silver Dawn. Professionals. Their crossbows spat silver. One bolt sank deep into Silas's shoulder. The sizzle of burning flesh, the choked yelp of pure agony. It echoed in the silent stones. He stumbled, the monstrous form flickering, vulnerability exposed. Logic, cold and sharp, dictated I watch. Let the hunters finish the job. One less thorn in my eternal side. But something else stirred. Not compassion. Never that. It was possession. The sheer audacity of these mortal insects daring to strike down my enemy. The one creature whose destruction belonged solely to me. My rage, colder and sharper than any silver, ignited. I moved. Not to save him. To reclaim my kill. A hunter died mid-reload, his throat a ruin before he registered my presence. Another screamed as I materialized behind him, spine snapping like dry twigs. The third turned, crossbow trembling, but found only my crimson gaze before darkness swallowed him. It was swift, brutal, a whirlwind of shadow and sudden, wet ends. Silas, slumped against a monolith, watched through pain-glazed eyes, disbelief warring with the feral light still within them. Silence crashed down, heavier than before. The scent of his blood, hot and wild, laced with the unique acrid tang of werewolf and silver, filled the air. It was unlike anything, pungent, dangerous, yet compelling, an intoxicating poison. I approached, the predator assessing wounded prey. He snarled, weak but defiant. I saw the struggle in his eyes, the beast fighting the encroaching weakness of the silver fighting me. Without thought, driven by a perverse curiosity deeper than hatred, I knelt. My hand, cold as the grave, closed over the silver bolt embedded in his shoulder. He flinched, a low growl vibrating through him. I yanked it free. Blood, dark and steaming in the crimson moonlight, welled thickly. The scent intensified, a siren song to the monstrous core of my being. Before reason could intervene, before he could react, I pressed my mouth to the wound. His blood flooded my senses. Fire. Not the gentle warmth of human life, but a conflagration. It seared through my dead veins, a jolt of pure, chaotic energy. The untamed fury of the storm, the ancient power of the moon. It was agony, a burning purity that threatened to immolate my cold existence. It was ecstasy, a raw, vital force I had never known, addictive and terrifying. I recoiled, gasping, my lips stained crimson, my own eyes wide with shock. His blood burned on my tongue, in my dead throat. Silas stared, panting, his amber eyes holding a dawning horror that mirrored my own. Not understanding, but a primal recognition of violation. The crimson moon waned, but the curse had taken root. Our war didn't end. It mutated. I craved his blood with a desperation that shamed my centuries of existence. It wasn't sustenance. It was a drug, a poison. I found myself tracking him not to kill, but to sample, to feel that wildfire in my veins again. He became wary, sensing the shift. Our clashes became desperate, brutal affairs. He fought to destroy me. I fought to get close enough to taste the power that now haunted me. I became reckless. I cornered him in the catacombs beneath the ruined abbey. He was weakened, recovering from the last silver wound I'd aggravated. We fought amidst the bones of saints, a whirlwind of fang and claw, snapping femurs and shattered skulls our gruesome percussion. I got my taste, a deep gash on his arm, and the surge of power was dizzying, momentarily blinding. His fist, like a granite boulder, caught me square in the chest, hurling me through a crumbling ossuary wall. The pain was immense, but the lingering fire in my blood sang louder. Weeks bled into months. I noticed changes. The perpetual chill of my own life lessened. Sunlight, while still agonizing, no longer promised instant immolation, merely searing pain. My reflection in the polished silver of my crypt lid flickered. Sometimes pale perfection, sometimes something else. Shadows moved differently around me. Hunger for human blood diminished, replaced entirely by the craving for his wildfire. Tonight the full moon hangs heavy and bright. I stand before that same silver lid, not a mirror now, but a plate of polished metal. The face that stares back is mine, yet not. My eyes, once crimson ice, now hold flecks of molten amber. My skin, pale as alabaster, seems flushed with a phantom warmth beneath the surface. And my fangs, they feel different, sharper, somehow heavier. A howl splits the night, close, his howl. It doesn't spark rage anymore. It ignites a hunger deeper than any I've known, a terrifying, exhilarating pull towards the moonlight. The craving for his blood is a physical ache, a fire in my core that the cold of my crypt can no longer quench. I look at my hands. Are the nails just a fraction longer, sharper? The realization crashes over me, colder than the grave I sprang from. It wasn't possession I felt under the crimson moon. It wasn't even hatred twisted into something else. It was infection, his blood, the wild, moon-cursed essence of the wolf. It's changing me, corrupting the ancient vampiric curse with something primal and new. The Silver Dawn failed to kill him. My own hatred failed to destroy him. Instead, in my moment of perverse triumph, I drank my own doom. The hunter became the hunted, and now the hunter is becoming prey to her own monstrous evolution. The final twist isn't love, but a horrifying metamorphosis. The vampire is becoming something else, something that howls at the moon. And the true horror is, I crave the change. I crave the fire. I crave him. Not for love, but for the next intoxicating draught of my own damnation. The crimson curse is upon me, and the hunt. The hunt has only just begun for the beast I am becoming.